Hawaii News Now.
Right now.
On K5.
KGMB KHNL.
And always on HawaiiNewsNow.com.
In high definition, live, local, connected at 9 o'clock. This is Hawaii News Now.
Good morning and welcome to Hawaii News Now. I'm Kristen Takabayashi. In today's news, we will be giving you live reports from Baltimore, as well as several interviews with members of the Punahou community. The Baltimore riots were triggered by the murder of Freddie Gray, an unemployed 25-year-old Maryland citizen. He was originally arrested by police for possession of an illegal switchblade and was handcuffed, put in leg shackles, and then taken on a rough ride, an unofficial police procedure. After being restrained and put in the back of a police van, a suspect is taken to the police station via a longer route, often while speeding and with sharp turns, all while unseatbelted. This is not the first time an incident like this has occurred. Gino Thompson, a Philadelphia resident, was paralyzed from the waist down after being taken on one of these rough rides. There have been 20 other documented cases, but there is no official tally of the number of people injured in similar mistreatments while on a rough ride. Freddie Gray's spine was fractured, resulting in his death. Riots erupted across Baltimore in protest of police misconduct. Violence between protesters and the National Guard resulted in numerous fires, break-ins, and shootings across the city. In one particular incident of property damage, a church caught fire and was burned to the ground. In another, a CVS store was robbed. However, the protests, in an effort to separate themselves from these events, cleaned up the store and the streets the following day. The Baltimore police reported there are 235 arrests that night and many injured. Among the protesters, there are also regular civilians affected by the aftermath of the protests. The local government shut down the public transportation system after allegedly receiving gang threats. This resulted in a large crowd of students as well as protesters unable to leave the city. Police then came and attacked the crowds under the assumption they were all violent protesters using riot gear and pepper spray. Now, we take you to the Mimiya Science Center where we have an exclusive interview with Punahou's chemistry teacher, Mr. Kaya.
Hi, so Mr. Kaya, are you aware of the situation in Baltimore currently?
Yeah, I know a little bit about it.
How have you been following the news?
Well, I actually don't watch news, but I watch SportsCenter, and I know for a fact the Baltimore Orioles had to suspend a couple games because of the riots, and one of the games they had to play with a completely empty stadium because none of the fans were allowed to go.
So since you are aware of what's going on, what's your stance on Freddie Gray's death?
I think it's an unfortunate incident, but I mean, things happen in life, so I don't think it was too brutal or anything.
So therefore you are in favor of these intimidation tactics by the police?
Yes, definitely. I think that criminals, if police were like all wussy about their job and, oh, let me wipe the dirt off your face, or, oh, did you fall? Let me get you a Band-Aid. I mean, that doesn't really work when these criminals are like trying to kill people and rob people. Like, they should be not necessarily beat on purpose, but they should be treated like people that are trying to hurt others too. So.
However, some say that the police did not have a rightful reason to arrest Freddie Gray. Do you believe he was wrongfully arrested?
You know, I feel like there's a lot of people in the world that are wrongfully arrested. I'm not sure what the facts are and stuff, but I feel like they're just blowing it out of proportion because of race and color.
Should lethal action ever be acceptable?
Oh yeah, for sure. If someone's pointing a gun at me, I want a cop to shoot them before they shoot me, that's for sure.
Good point. All right, thank you for your thoughts, Mr. Kaya. This is Elisa Liu. I'm back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Elisa. It was great to hear about Mr. Kaya's perspective on the riot. Now let's talk to senior Logan Araki, who will be soon attending St. Louis University near Ferguson, about his perspective of living in an area that experienced a similar situation starting in August of last year.
Hi, today we are here to interview Logan Araki. So Logan, how do you feel about attending college near Ferguson next year?
Well, of course, Ferguson has been a big focus point for, let's say, African-American hate crimes or African-American versus white racial disputes. But overall, going next to Ferguson doesn't really make me feel any different way about going to the certain college I'm going to. It just happens to be near a city where there's a lot of heated tensions about that topic matter. And as a human being, I'm automatically going to be drawn to maybe doing something about that issue in there and maybe getting to know people who are associated with Ferguson.
So, are you concerned about your safety at all?
Well, my parents were, let's put it that way. When I wanted to go to college in St. Louis, they asked me, "Are you sure about that? What about Ferguson?" I'm like, I didn't really take that into account, but as I talked to more people at the college, they said it wasn't really a big problem. And I'm also going there for a social justice fellowship, so we're doing a lot of community service in the areas around Ferguson as well, help with talking to people there and town cleanups and stuff like that. So, certain events that help out with stating their feelings, and they have very strong feelings on political matters.
All right, thank you, Logan. Back to you in the studio, Kristen.
Early in the broadcast segment, we asked our viewers to call our 1-800 number regarding their thoughts about the Baltimore riots. Here's what our viewers said. Hi, Jana. What do you think about the Baltimore riots?
So I think that the Baltimore riots are stupid because they're just an excuse for people to ransack businesses and to set infrastructures ablaze. I also think that they're unnecessary because people have other means of protest, either through social media or just by doing silent marches like what Martin Luther King Jr. did.
While many have speculated about Freddie Gray's arrest and the police's actions, it's important to acknowledge that there are victims to these unfortunate events. It's also important to remember that despite the media coverage over the violent outbursts of the Baltimore riot, the majority of these protests have been conducted peacefully. In other news, the fight of the century between Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao took place on May 2nd, which still isn't over. We'll be back right after this commercial.
If you're planning on robbing a store, the Hydro Flask is a great way to break through the glass. Just throw it like a brick. Hydro Flasks are insulated products that keep your hot drinks hot and your cold drinks cold.
In a fight that took 6 years to arrange, Mayweather defeated Pacquiao in a unanimous decision after 12 rounds and has maintained his undefeated record of 48-0. But after the fight, it was revealed that Pacquiao was injured before the fight. Now, according to his orthopedic surgeon, he has a significant tear in his right shoulder rotator cuff. There is talk about having a rematch after Pacquiao has surgery, and they are thinking that the rematch will take place in 2016. And only if Mayweather is willing to come out for his 50th match. Now we take you to David, where we have an interview with Casey Mita, a martial arts competitor at Punahou School.
Hey Casey, so being a martial arts competitor, what were your thoughts about the recent Mayweather-Pacquiao fight? How did you think the fight was going to go?
I thought the fight went exactly that I thought it was going to go. It was really boring. Floyd was just running around the ring and picking his shots, and I thought that Floyd didn't go for it at all, and Manny was being really aggressive, but Floyd was just doing his thing that he always does.
Did you hear about his shoulder injury that he had?
Yeah, I heard about it. I thought that it would have been smarter to let the Nevada State Athletic Commission know about it earlier, and even if he had to postpone the fight, it would have been better because he would have put on a better performance and possibly finished Floyd.
So how do you think that affected the fight?
Thought it affected it a lot. I even saw pictures of Floyd targeting it because I heard that Floyd knew about the injury. His camp knew a lot. And I feel like fighting with one arm is really hard, especially against a guy like Floyd. Even though he's boring, he's still one of the best out there.
So if there was a rematch in 2016, would you watch that?
Probably would.
Probably would.
If both guys are healthy and Floyd agrees to not run away like a girl, should be good.
So do you think this was just a scheme to make money? Because I've heard that it was Mayweather's company that actually started the fight, got it together and organized it.
Yeah, I do believe that. There's rumors that Mayweather took home 60% and Pacquiao only took home 40%, which to me isn't fair, and kind of obviously shows that Floyd just wanted to make money.
Mm-hmm.
Floyd knew that Manny was injured and he knew that there was all this money on the line if he won,
mm-hmm.
and that's why he fought so boring, just so he could barely get the win and take home all of the money.
All right. Well, thank you, Casey. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, David. That's it for today, and thanks for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow.